Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Well, we're going to talk about a comment Donald Trump made just a few days ago about Alex Pretti. And he was talking about he had a gun and he was walking around with a gun. And he made the comment, well, you just can't walk around with a gun. And you know how the right is about their Second Amendment rights. And they had a meltdown when Donald Trump said that because, they always come around every so many years claiming the liberals are going to take their guns away and all that nonsense. And I have yet to see anybody get their guns just randomly taken away in this country, but it's an argument they love making all the time. Well, this time Donald Trump spoke in a way that really upset them. And you know me, if MAGA is upset, I am happy. I am I am very happy. But I tell you what, y'all, there's a lot of divisions in Donald Trump's administration these days. And on top of all of that, people are calling after Alex Pretti um, unaliving. People are calling for Stephen Miller to get fired. Now, whether it will happen or not, we'll see, you know. But I have some footage, a brief footage on Stephen Miller when he was 17. This man has always been loony, even back at 17, and you'll see what he says. That'll be a little later. But yeah, I mean, why worry about him now? You let Stephen Miller be there, even he was there even in the first Trump administration, but he was not as vocal as he is now, but he was there. That's when he met his wife. So all of a sudden you're upset with Stephen Miller. It's bad enough. Y'all are walking around here talking about defund ICE, but these same people, when it was defund the police, they had an issue with it. But, two dead white people. So, yeah, now everybody's ready to act. So, y'all, let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, please give me a one if you can see my screen. And this first video is something Donald Trump was talking about, allowing non-violent felons that get out of prison to have firearms. And that's the first video. And then the other ones are going to be about Donald Trump and what he said. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Trump said felons can now carry a firearm. It was we could have it in the house, in our possession, as long as we was in the house defending our property. But now felons are being taken advantage of because the fact that we have a felon, we can't protect ourselves. Not everybody want to fight. Not everybody want to rouse, throw rocks, kick, punch, none of that. They want to shoot. So he is going to give us that right back to be able to possess a firearm. We should be able to walk around with a firearm, and guess what? I'm happy about it. You know why? Because as a felon, your life is in danger every day. You walking around unsecured. Nobody is squabbling no more. If you ain't got a gun on your hip, you are done with. These new YNs, they out here shooting them up. They ain't taking no arguments, no nothing. And guess what? You caught lacking. People out here creating enemies on accident. Social media influencers. You got a good job. You making it too much money. So you need to be able to protect yourself. And guess what, y'all?
We are now hearing from Donald Trump, who commented on the shooting that took place in Minneapolis. And he says right now it's a cover up. In it, he includes the photo of the weapon. I am not, but he says, "This is the gunman's gun loaded with 2 additional full magazines and ready to go." What is that all about? Where are the local police? Why weren't they allowed to protect ICE officers? The mayor and the governor called them off? It is stated that many of these police were not allowed to do their job, that ICE had to protect themselves. Not an easy thing to do. What does, and he refers over here to one of the lawmakers there, have $34 million in her account? And where are the tens of billions of dollars that have been stolen from the once great state of Minnesota? We are there because of massive monetary fraud, with billions of dollars missing and illegal criminals that were allowed to infiltrate the state through the Democrats' open border policy. We want the money back, and we want it back now. These fraudsters who stole the money are going to jail where they belong. This is no different than a really big bank robbery. Much of what you're witnessing is a cover-up for this theft and fraud. The mayor and the governor are inciting insurrection with their pompous and dangerous and arrogant rhetoric, saying that these political fools should be looking for the billions of dollars that's been stolen by the people of Minnesota and the United States of America. Let our ICE agents do their job. 12,000 illegal alien criminals, many of them violent, have been arrested and taken out in Minnesota. And then added later down here, among other things, this is a cover-up for the billions of dollars that have been stolen from the once great state. Just to go ahead and fact check a few different things here. First is, yes, this victim did have a weapon on them. Minnesota is a open carry as long as you have a permit. This person did have a permit, so they didn't use this weapon illegally as far as we know. We do need to wait for the investigation for the full report here, but from the photos and videos online, you can make your own judgment. He talked about local police being blocked from helping ICE. That's not true at all. There has been no public order for police officers to not help ICE. He claims that tens of billions of dollars were stolen from Minnesota. That is false. There is no documentation on that. Something to keep in mind that Minnesota's annual state budget is actually that. So that's what people are saying. That number is not realistic. He mentioned the politician there had $34 million in her account. For public filings, that's not true. He claims that the protests are a cover-up for the fraud that's taking place, and that's just rhetoric. That's an opinion. There is nothing substantial behind that. He claims that the governor and the mayor are inciting insurrection. That's also false. As both of them have said before, to be peaceful as you're protesting, and as far as we see in this original video, that person was peaceful until it became, I don't know, the ICE officers went after him. He says that 12,000 violent criminals were removed from Minnesota. And while, yes, there have been people who were removed, it's nowhere near 12,000. But I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on all of this. So please do share my videos and follow me for more.
We have some pretty big news right now. Donald Trump is under fire because he just said you can't have guns walking into essentially near ICE enforcement activities or near a protest. He was boarding Marine One, and he was asked by a reporter about what his thoughts were about the Alex Pretti murder. And he kind of went off saying that it's unfortunate, it's a tragedy, but then says you can't have guns. You can't be carrying guns like that. That's going to enrage a lot of folks, and it's also factually and legally incorrect for a few reasons. First, Alex Pretti wasn't going to a protest. Right? He wasn't going to a protest. Number two, he was legally permitted to carry a firearm the entire time. It's completely legal. Third, here's the deal, folks. He never brandished that firearm. Fourth, this is only going to split Republicans even more because pro-Second Amendment Republicans are furious at Trump for making this an issue about guns because they're saying, well, just because you carry a gun doesn't mean you deserve to be executed in the streets. And well, that's exactly what Trump is kind of alluding to now, is that he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. Pretty big rift emerging that's only about to grow bigger. Spread the word. I'll have more updates for you soon. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
While talking about the murder of Alex Pretti by ICE, Donald Trump suggested in a new interview that he feels worse about the shooting of Renee Nicole Good because her parents were Trump supporters and he doesn't know about Pretti's parents. Seriously, watch.
It's pretty unusual, but nobody knows when they saw the gun, how they saw the gun, everything else. Bottom line, it was terrible. Both of them were terrible. The other was terrible too. And I'm not sure about his parents, but I know her parents were big Trump fans. Makes me feel bad anyway. But I mean, I guess you could say even worse. They were tremendous Trump people, Trump fans. And, you know, the daughter was, she was, I don't know if you could say radicalized, maybe not. I don't know. But I hate to see it. I hate to see that.
Yeah, so that's Donald Trump openly admitting how much he cares about a murder victim depends on if they supported him or not. I mean, we all know that Donald Trump is a narcissistic, sociopathic lunatic. I just never thought he'd admit it. The president should care about all Americans equally, whether they voted for them or not. That should be the baseline. But in Donald Trump's America, that's not the case.
Assessment from some of your own officials that Alex Pretti is a domestic terrorist or an assassin?
Well, I haven't heard that, but certainly he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. But hey, look, bottom line, everybody in this room, we view that as a very unfortunate incident. Okay, right. Everyone, right. Unless you're a stupid person, very, very unfortunate incident. I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's a very unfortunate.
Tell me you still think the Democrats are coming for your guns when Donald Trump just said you can't be walking around with guns like that. Yes, he said that today. Donald J. Trump, Republican president of the United States, said today, January 27th, 2026, you can't be walking around with guns like that, while he was getting on board Marine One. Now, the Second Amendment and right-wing crew over there have been saying for decades, the left are coming for your firearms. They're going to take them all away. Honey, your president just said you can't carry them if you're near a protest or near law enforcement or federal agents, which, by the way, is not legally correct or constitutional. Many states are open carry. Some states you need a permit. And guess what? A lot of people, Democrat, Republican, independent, unaffiliated, whatever, have permits to legally carry firearms. So that is a direct violation of your Second Amendment rights there. If he actually tries to enforce that anyway. Now, he could just be speaking out of his ever wide and squishy little bottom there. But Second Amendment crew, you still think it's us?
You know, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns. You just can't. And you can't, listen, you can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. But it's a very unfortunate incident.
This is a small bunch of wannabe Nazis. That's what they are. In a country of 350 million, we outnumber them. I want you to understand that just as you have come together, there are state prosecutors coming together right now to make sure that people understand there will be accountability. There will be accountability now. There will be accountability in the future.
Don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines.
Do you agree with the assessment from some of your own officials that Alex Pretti is a domestic terrorist or an assassin?
Well, I haven't heard that, but certainly he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. But hey, look, bottom line, everybody in this room, we view that as a very unfortunate incident. Okay, everyone, unless you're a stupid person, very, very unfortunate incident. I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's a very unfortunate.
I mean, how can you be the president of the United States and not even know the law? I mean, technically, you can show up at a protest armed. That's not illegal, especially if you're in an open carry state. And here he is, the president, and he act like he doesn't know that. So, but it's been a mess since Alex Pretti's demise. It's been a lot of infighting, at the White House. And the biggest name that they want fired is Stephen Miller and also Kristi Noem. They want both of them gone. Now, whether they will be gone or not, that's a whole different issue. We don't know, but we shall see. I would not be surprised if somebody does go down because, it was a white man that was killed. Whenever we got unalived out in these streets, they kept these people on the police force, or all they had to do was cross the county line and end up with another job working for law enforcement. Go figure, right? So y'all, this is it for today. Now, I do have some more upcoming lives. I don't know how much of you have heard about some of the things Donald Trump is about to do out here. And one of them is Donald Trump is going to be reopening the mental institutions and insane asylums in this country. So if you haven't heard about that, you're going to hear about that today. And another thing that is going to be happening is, people are now chattering about segregation because, back in March of 2025, Donald Trump signed a bill where federal places can discriminate. They can segregate if they want to. So that's coming up again. And we'll talk about that a little later. There's a video of Pretti kicking out the taillight of an ICE vehicle. Really? You know what? I would not be surprised. All I know is it seems like when white people get killed, they demand immediate change. When we get killed, they do everything so they don't have to change nothing. We've seen multiple cops walk out of courtrooms and not even have to pay the price when they were clearly wrong in murdering some of our people. But we'll see how this all plays out now that a few white people then got unalived out here by federal authority. So, but I'm not surprised about the contradiction. In one instance, you're on TV talking about absolute immunity. And then when a few white people get taken down, now y'all trying to walk everything back. And even Stephen Miller, who was boldly talking about Pretti and Good, now even he's trying to walk back everything. So what is it? Is it absolute power as long as it's a non-white person that gets unalived? But when white people get unalived, all of a sudden we need to start firing people and making changes? Boy, do we see through you, for real. So y'all, I will see you later. I have my next live at 1:45. I will see you then. Shalom, family. Oh, hold on. I do have one. Lisa Parker, thank you for your new channel membership. Shalom, family.